Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters.
So we're at the point where we need to start this bread pudding. And for reference, I've got this masonry oven hovering right around 350 degrees. But we gotta start first with the Glazers. Opening each one of these boxes up is like Christmas morning for me. It's amazing. That smells good. You wanna try it? Get this parade of Glazers going here. I've got today a Bundt Pan. I'm gonna take this Bundt Pan and give it a quick spray with some cooking oil. In this case, it's a little bit of olive oil, and I'm just gonna really lightly mist it. Now, I'm gonna take these Glazers and I'm gonna cut them into bite-sized chunks, just like this. And into the Bundt Pan they go. So now that we're about 2 boxes of donuts in, I wanna add in my bananas. We're gonna take 2 bananas and cut them into slices and layer the slices in. This is gonna help us really compress that banana and glazer flavor together, which should be a slam dunk. Now I've measured out 3 cups whole milk, and I wanna be able to pick that up and pour about half of it in there to really soak up that moisture. Now, if we were making bread pudding with, say, day-old bread, we'd really want this to sit for a while. But because these are Glazers, and these are special, light, fluffy pillows of deliciousness, I'm gonna take the time here with the spoon and press these down into that milk. I like my bread pudding nice and dense. So by removing those air pockets, it's gonna allow all that milk and that Glazer goodness to soak on in. As you can see, our pan is only about halfway full. So right now, I'm gonna take and cut up a couple more donuts, 1 more banana, and then we'll add the rest of the milk to the top of the mixture. Let's give them another smush, shall we? Smush is a culinary term, if you didn't know. Oh yeah, that's some good smushing. It's time for our eggs. For this recipe, looking at my Bundt Pan, looking at how many Glazers I have in here, and thinking about the bananas, I'm gonna probably use 4 whole eggs. I'm gonna crack them into this bowl right here. If we were making this without the Glazers, which I don't know why you would, but if you were, this would be the point where you would want to add a little bit of sugar into this bowl, and then a little bit of that vanilla. And trust me, I've got a little bit of that vanilla. I think we went ham with 4 pumps earlier. All right, I'm gonna whisk these egg yolks together with a little bit of that salted vanilla. And what I wanna do here is just incorporate a little air. Now's the time we're gonna pour these eggs right over our Glazer mixture. All right, what I'm gonna do is real gentle-like take and just work some of that egg in. You can see that these Glazers are sucking up a ton of this moisture. So this is ready to cook. What we're going to do next is very simple. It's essentially putting this in a giant water bath. I know it sounds like maybe something that's a little over our pay grade, but I promise it's not, and I'll show you just how easy this is. I've got right here a pan set up for my water bath. I've got about 1.5 inches of water in the bottom. And the water is going to act as a really, really awesome heating agent for this entire bread pudding. We're gonna set it right in the middle. And now, we're gonna cover it with some foil. What we wanna do is we wanna trap this moisture inside, which will actually steam the bread pudding together. The eggs that we incorporated at the end cook at around 172 degrees. So we want this to be a very gentle warming, and which allows all that moisture to be redistributed through those Glazers that we put in there and really soak up that flavor. If I were doing this at home, anything that you can put your bread pudding pan inside, and just like I said, 1 inch, 1.5 inches of water. The more water you have, it takes a little longer to heat up, but in this instance, it's going to work really, really well to steam it. For some more technical recipes, you would want to consult a cookbook or, send me an email. Using the induction burner, I'm going to adjust the temperature to 250 degrees. Basically, what I want to do is I want to boil the water. And right here, I have 1 cup of water, and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. We're gonna let this come to a boil, and what we're doing is making caramel. Very, very simple, but very, very delicious. We want this sugar to go through its caramelization. And when it does that, we'll see it start to turn that luxurious brown color. See right in here? That's our sugar starting to caramelize. I wanna move it around because right now it could be close to burning, and I'm gonna kill that heat. Now we can see that it's really starting to change color fast, which is awesome. That means that we've hit that mark to make that caramel. Man, this smell is so good. All right, now that I've got almost all this butter in, we're gonna add 2 more things. 1, we're going back for our remaining bananas. Now, I've got my caramel. I'm gonna give it a little bit of slow heat. So I have just a little bit of that bourbon. Oh yeah. So we're gonna cook off the alcohol in this, but what I wanted to do is infuse that flavor. And last but not least, when this is kind of cooking down, cooking out, I'm gonna dust it with just a little bit of sea salt. As you might imagine, the aromas are super complex. I get notes of the banana, I can smell the butter, a little bit of the bourbon, and it's all kind of encased and enshrouded in that rich caramely goodness. Yeah. Now, when it comes to something that's been steamed like this, the way to actually test if it's completed its cooking cycle is to touch it. And if it springs back against your finger, that means it's good. I'm gonna take it out of the water bath. Now, we're gonna do what is probably the hardest part of this recipe, and that is wait for it to cool before we dig in. These smells take me back to my time at the Kwik Trip Bakery, watching those glazers come straight out of the fryer and under the glazing machine and getting to taste them with my boy Andy. That's a smell and a taste I'll never forget. But this is pretty darn close. Oh. The most awesome part about this now is the opportunity to taste everything all together. Glazer bread pudding with Kwik Trip bananas, a little bit of bourbon caramel, and some of that salted vanilla pump. I think we gotta give it a taste. That is kind of unspeakably good. The glazers absorbed all that milk, and so they became soft and almost like a whisper, a memory of a glazer. With the banana and that rich, rich caramel, ooh. And people can complain about convenience stores all day long. But the reality of the situation is that in some communities, these convenience stores are an absolute lifeline. The ability to walk in and get something that's fresh. I'm not saying that glazer bread pudding is something that should be eaten every day, but I do think that looking at something like Kwik Trip and taking the ingredients that you find there a step farther is a really fun and entertaining way to surprise yourself and those that you love the most. I always said I wanted my character persona to be like if Fred Rogers and Guy Fieri had a baby.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, here we are. Now we're gonna take and add the remaining milk mix. Now we're gonna take and
Would you do 20 glazers on camera? Would you pay me?
Oh, look at that beautiful, it's like making its own glazer right in the middle. Get those bananas in that caramel sauce.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters.
Smoosh!
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters.